If you saw, watch our other video, if you saw the debate, Donnie Trump got into a little trouble with the first Miss Universe when he was the owner of the Miss Universe pageant. She gained weight after she became Miss Universe, and then he, of course, treated her like, called her a fat pig, called her Miss Piggy, and then we referred to her as Miss Housekeeping because she's Hispanic. And then he made her work out in front of cameras, in front of reporters.
These are just the many ways he's nice to women.
It's unbelievable, right? So Hillary Clinton brought this up in the debate, and it looked bad for him. And so he goes on Fox and Friends and Friends and Friends, and here he is trying to. This is his damage control. You ready for Fox? This is damage control. Here we go.
Is that what he's going to release?
Going in, she was trying to get under your skin a couple of times. Did she?
No, not at all. I didn't see it that way. At the end, maybe, the very last question when she brought up the person that became, I know that person. That person was a Miss Universe person, and she was the worst we ever had. The worst, the absolute worst. She was impossible.
She was the worst we ever had. She's a horrible Miss Universe.
Genuinely.
Just launches character assassination immediately. She is the worst we've ever had. Just immediately.
And I've had them all.
But he doesn't deny. By the way, he doesn't deny all this calling her fat. In fact, he's going to reinforce it right now.
Oh. And she was a Miss Universe contestant and ultimately a winner who they had a tremendously difficult time with as Miss Universe.
Did not know that story.
Well, I didn't know either.
What she was the winner, and she gained a massive amount of weight.
He just can admit it. Like first he goes, "We had a tough time." Oh, I didn't know that story. What story? He didn't tell a story yet.
No story.
There's no story.
He's almost like Hillary Clinton brought up this girl. Let me tell you about that. She was so fat.
Well, he goes, she was horrible. She was they had a lot of trouble with her. Oh, I didn't know that story. He didn't tell you a story. He just told you he just insulted her character without a story.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, I didn't know that. I guess we'll take your word for it. The guy who demeans veterans who are prisoners of war.
Well, this is narrative wars. It's not just the details being discussed or not being discussed, but who controls the narrative of what is okay to talk about in a conversation. That's like a big battle right now of people correcting, no, you don't get to talk about this part, you only get to talk about this. No, the rules are, and then they're shifting all these new rules around to cover, and this is like generally the one who makes all the new rules is a liar, who has to cover the lies with all the new rules, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that going around, and so when people see someone like Donald Trump talking and he's just saying, hey, he says what's on my mind. I think she's too fat, too. The other battle's going to be, are there enough of those?
Right. I don't think those people
I don't
vote.
trust the media's number on that. I don't know.
I don't think those. So what do you think? Somebody made the point to me. I don't know who it was. But they go, when I look around a Trump event, I don't think half of those people aren't going to show up to vote. That those people aren't even registered. I went to a Trump event. I would say half of them definitely are voting, definitely. But I think there's a lot to that. I wonder if those people actually will vote. I wonder. But let's listen to a little more. So he just admitted, he's not even denying the thing. Oh, she gained a massive amount of weight. What the?
Well, and he volunteered this. What'd they ask him? Did Hillary trip you up or anything like that? Like, no, not really, but let me let it happen.
Let's put it really in perspective. She won Miss Universe.
She won Miss Universe.
That for a detail.
Yeah.
A little inconvenient detail.
And they're sitting around going, yeah, I bet she was fat, huh? Here we go.
And it was a real problem. We had a real problem. Not only that, her attitude, and we had a real problem with her. So Hillary went back into the years, and she found this. This was many years ago. And
yeah, this doesn't count because many years ago when I was a horrible person, it doesn't count. When I was the head of the Miss Universe, when I owned Miss Universe, remember I was horrible. That doesn't count because it was many years ago.
Yeah, right. That's the narrative. That's someone else battling for what the narrative should be in the conversation, that it should be about amount of time.
Yeah.
As opposed to what was done.
Yeah.
We're changing the narrative to, that's the one part I'm not responsible for.
And the other side of that is what Donald Trump's story is what he went through.
Yes.
and how he survived this woman.
Yeah, this woman who gained weight. How this is a big problem.
This genetic perfection, how much trouble it cost him.
Was she the 400-pound hacker he was referencing earlier?
How ironic too that he makes during the debate.
Right.
He does the 400-pound thing. He makes that jab about who
He
knows.
has a lot of weight stuff going on.
Yeah.
Found a girl and talked about her like she was Mother Teresa. And it wasn't quite that way, but that's okay. You know, Hillary has to do what she has to do. You know, I see what's happening in the polls. I guess you see I'm tied in Minnesota. And
And by the way, notice the crawl underneath. Gunman killed, was carrying 2 weapons. More than 500 rounds. That's always critical to whatever's in the picture. The crawl generally has some correlative thing.
So they're not jumping on with him. They're not going, oh, she was fat, huh? The most is what Ducey said. I didn't hear that story. That was all he said.
Yeah, they went
the
dead
woman
face.
is just like, oh.
Come on,
Right.
the
Really?
hot woman in the middle.
The hot woman in the middle,
She
she's
could be
like-
a beauty contestant,
oh,
and
what-
she should
what
lose
if
a
I
couple
gained 10
ounces.
pounds?
Look at that tiny waist.
She's sitting there thinking, God, what if I gain 10 pounds? I know I'm going to catch hell.
Well, who was her boss up until about a month ago?
Right, Roger Ailes was her boss up
Yeah.
until...
Hey, Donald, what would happen if you lost a couple of ounces?
Oh. Well, a lot of people say he was sniffing a couple ounces, last night.
They were saying he was coked up.
Coked up. That's what they were saying. I'm not saying that. Donnie, tiny hands. I'm not saying that you were coked up.
I don't know, but all the comedians are. 'Cause that's where the funny is.